Changing direction in the border battle. Today, the president issued an executive order altering his controversial immigration policy.
The new order stops agents from separating children from parents who are caught illegally entering the U.S. The change comes after mounting pressure on the president over his zero-tolerance policy.
Under today's executive order, the policy remains in place, meaning everyone caught crossing the border will be jailed. But now children will stay with their parents.
The immigration debate has sparked outrage across the country, including right here in the Valley. Before President Trump's announcement, activists took a stand, standing outside Senator John McCain's office this morning, protesting the separation policy. McCain has spoken out against the policy, calling it an affront to the decency of the American people.
Now, along with those protests, grassroots campaigns are popping up almost everywhere, trying to raise millions of dollars for immigrant rights groups at the border. You've probably seen some of them circulating on social media. One campaign claims it's already raised more than $10 million.
And how would that money be spent? Team 12's Joe Dana is verifying those questions for us tonight.
Well, there are hundreds of organizations working to help immigrants at the border. Some are more reputable than others. We can verify there is one very big recipient of donations. Now, first, some of the others. The ACLU has raised over $1 million to defend the rights of immigrant families in court. They all need attorneys right now. Celebrities like John Legend and Elon Musk have donated to that cause. Other big names like Mark Zuckerberg have lent their name and money to the cause of detained immigrants. Zuckerberg put in $50,000 to the Texas Civil Rights Project. In Arizona, the Florence Project, which also provides free legal services and aid to immigrants, is also taking donations. And we can verify that a credible organization, the nonprofit RISIS, Refugee and Immigrant Center for Education and Legal Services, is the big collector here. They've raised over $12 million, actually $13 million at last check just a few minutes ago. It's all because of a Facebook fundraiser set up by friends of the charity. RISIS posting a message saying, "We've been crying around the office all day when we checked the fundraising totals." They are floored. They say they plan to use the donations to hire more attorneys. They already have 50 on staff. They are recruiting volunteers. The charities we have mentioned have good or excellent ratings by the watchdog company Charity Navigator. You can go to their website to see how credible charities are. Experts say if someone is raising funds on GoFundMe, you should double check the legitimacy of the cause or charity behind it. Make phone calls. Check Charity Navigator, that website. The rule of thumb is that GoFundMe is typically a buyer beware, or in this case, donor beware situation. Back to you guys.